The Parks Grindhouse presents a knee-jerk production. Earl I, written by and performed by Freddie Parks. Exterior pond night. The full moon reflects off the water as a light breeze rustles the tall grass around the bank of the pond. In spite of the moon's phase, it is an extremely dark night. A dark figure, Isaac Endicott, in his late 40s, male and heavy set, with a long red beard, wearing overalls but no shirt or shoes, sits on the bank of a large pond leaning against an old oak tree. A puff of gray pipe tobacco swirls up from between his lips. He clutches the pipe between his teeth as he looks out at his bobber. The bobber is attached to a string that leads back to a piece of a cane pole the man holds in his hands. A sorrowful smile rests on his face as he continues to puff on the pipe, then jiggle the line of his fishing pole. After a few moments, he uses the end of the pole to drill out a small hole in the ground next to him. He stuffs the end down into the hole a few inches, then takes the pipe from between his teeth, exhaling one more gray puff of smoke. He watches the smoke whirl and dance away toward the moon with a smile. The air is sweet tonight, Bess. Nothing biting. You was always my good luck. Isaac takes a red bandana from his pocket and wipes his face as the first tears of the night leak from the corners of his eyes. He returns the bandana to his pocket and reaches over to shake the pole, making the bobber twitch in the water. Just as well. I don't much like fish anyway. He was one who liked the taste of the slimy bastards. Give me a hunk of beef or a pot of mash any old day. More tears leak, but he lets them flow this time. Any day but today, I reckon. It's been a year since you passed. Thought I'd never want to smell fish cooking again, but what I wouldn't give to have it just one more time, Bessie. Just one more. A loud rustling in the tall grass that flanks both sides of the trail that lead to his shack commands his attention. Who's about? No one answers. Isaac comes to his feet as quickly as his oversized frame will allow. Clyde, that you? If so, you step out here right now and show yourself. No one answers. Damn it, Clyde. You're apt to get an ass full of buckshot if you don't make yourself known. No answer. Isaac reaches down and picks up his shotgun, then gets to his feet. He glances at his bobber and sees that it's unmoved in the water. He turns back toward the sound of the rustling and sees grass twitch several yards away. Slowly makes his way through the tall grass toward it. Isaac stops in his tracks as the rustling intensifies. In the moonlight, he sees that something or someone is now moving toward him. Sweat drips down the side of his face. His breathing is quick and desperate. He begins to bring the shotgun up to his shoulder, just a little too slow. A large brown animal leaps from the grass directly at Isaac. He is startled back and jerks the trigger of the single shot shotgun. A flash of light from the barrel temporarily blinds him. He falls backwards on his considerable rear end. The brown animal thrashes over and around Isaac. He rolls over to see the flick of a white tail as the deer quickly disappeared into the darkness. Isaac lays back, trying to catch his breath. After a few moments, he begins to chuckle, then to laugh in earnest. He sits up and pats the ground around him, and he finds his shotgun. He comes to his feet. His face is red from the stress and the embarrassment. Yeah, I mean, no fish and now no meat. How in the hell did I miss at that distance? Isaac sighs and looks up at the sky with a sorrowful smile. Well, Bess, tonight's just not my night. Looks like eggs for dinner again. Isaac turns to walk away when more wrestling starts up near the tree. Well, well. Maybe we got some brothers or cousins still back there. Hey, Mr. Deer, let's take a look yonder ways. Isaac breaks open the barrel of his single shot and discards the spent shell, then takes another from his overall pocket. He quietly closes it back and cocks the hammer. He moves slowly, picking his way along the root of broken grass made by the deer. He pauses each time he sees more rustling. Abruptly, the rustling stops. Isaac's face takes on a disappointing frown. He sniffs the air and wrinkles his nose as though he's smelling something awful. Damn kids tossing them mudcats upon the ground again, I suppose, and me unable to get a nibble. Isaac takes out his bandana to cover his mouth and nose, obscuring his view for only a moment. As he does, a figure, Earl, materializes out of the darkness only a few feet from Isaac. His face is pale and ashen, black eyes float in gray sclera and rimmed in dripping red mucus. Thin lips pull back in a mischievous smile, bearing yellow teeth. A gossamer thin patch of white hair floats with the breeze around his head. His clothes are battered and torn. A close inspection would reveal the white breeches and red frock jacket of a British soldier from the time of the Revolutionary War. The clothing had long since been covered by blood, rot, mud, and shit, allowing him to blend into his surroundings. Isaac lowers the bandana and sees the creature. He is frozen for a moment. The creature that might have been a human once smiles at him. His mouth opens wider to show that the canine teeth are long and come to sharp points. Isaac smiles back as a reaction, but a shotgun is coming up even as he does. He fires the shotgun as soon as it's level, not taking time to aim. Hot steel shot pepper the thing's face. A small section of its left cheek is torn back and hangs off its face. It stumbles back a step. He regains his footing, turns back to Isaac, the flap of skin hanging from his face like a lump of greasy bacon. No! You shite! That fucking hurts! It don't grow back, you know. Isaac breaks the breech on the shotgun and shucks it around as quickly as he can. He fumbles for another round, but Earl strides toward him with his clawed hands reaching out to snatch at Isaac. Isaac abandons the idea of reloading and swings the shotgun as hard as he can, catches Earl across the same cheek he damaged earlier. Earl's head whips to the right, and he stumbles just long enough for Isaac to turn and run. Isaac disappears into the darkness. Oh, God! Oh, Jesus, please, please! Isaac runs to the bank of the pond where his pole was left. He skids to a stop and nearly flies forward into the water. He would have, but at that moment Earl grabbed him by the back of his overalls and snatched him backwards violently. He slams into the oak tree with a crack. Isaac tumbles sideways as his body ragdolls to the ground. His head lolls to the side. He watches as the bobber on the end of the fishing line begins to bounce up and down in the water. Isaac's mouth opens and closes as he tries to breathe. He looks like the catfish he had hoped to catch with his pole only a few moments earlier. Earl sits on Isaac's chest and turns the man's head to look up at him. With a motion almost too fast to see, Earl plucks out Isaac's left eye. He pops it into his mouth and begins to chew greedily. He leans his head back in ecstasy. Vitreous humor dribbles down the corners of his mouth. Isaac's mouth opens and closes as he continues to try to find sound. In his remaining eye, fear, rage, and desperation scream soundlessly. That's a sweet one, fat boy. Mustn't spoil me main course with sweeties, though. Time enough for that later. Haven't eaten in some time, you understand. No worries, mate. I wouldn't leave none for the birdies and beasties. Blood and tears flowed down Isaac's cheek. Earl opens his mouth. His jaw unhinges slightly, the sharp canine teeth grow an inch longer. Earl violently pulls Isaac's head to the side, and Isaac's neck disappears into Earl's mouth. Earl drinks and licks up every drop of blood that he can. Isaac's remaining eye glasses over as the light of life extinguishes like a blowing out of a candle. Earl chews and crunches through Isaac's neck until it disconnects from the rest of the body. Earl leans back, looking satisfied. Blood smears his face and drips down the corners of his mouth. He breathes heavy. His jaw draws up to its normal resting position. Earl reaches up and moves it back and forth slightly to make sure it's seated. He turns to Isaac's head. He looks at it curiously for a moment, then takes it by the beard and slings it over his shoulder like a rucksack. He walks over to the fishing pole that is bending with the weight of the fish. Earl holds the head up and looks at it thoughtfully, then pulls the right eye out of its socket. He deposits the eye for later consumption into a pocket. Earl looks thoughtfully at the tree for a moment. A broken off branch, about 6 inches in diameter, protrudes from the trunk. Earl holds Isaac's head up and looks at it with a grin, then shoves it violently onto the branch, the end of it coming through the hanging jaw. The fishing pole pulls free of its resting place and disappears into the water. Earl gives it only a cursory glance, then turns back to Isaac's body. He reaches down, takes Isaac's right arm, and walks back toward the tall grass. Darkness swallows him.